Hi, welcome to Wrinkles Society of Hope. If this is your first time, welcome. And those that are returning, thank you so much for continuing to follow. Today, you are going to hear a courageous woman come to share her story about the wrinkles that she had to press through in life. Now, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can continue to hear the stories, and also hit subscribe and share our YouTube channel so that some other woman can be motivated and encouraged by the stories that come. I am so excited that you are here, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Hello, Wrinkles family. We are back. I am excited about today. I have one of our younger Wrinkles women with us today. As you see already, just really young, fresh face. So our questions are going to probably gear a little different. But just because we're young don't mean we don't have any wrinkles to press through in life. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself to the Wrinkles family.
Hello, Wrinkles family. My name is Damaris Williams. I am 31. I am excited to do this interview here with Summer. It's kind of overdue. I'm glad I got with her. So nice to meet everyone.
Thank you so much for coming today. And 31, I'll put you way in your 20s.
No, I'm 31. I'm a mother of two. My daughters are 11 and 3.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I put you.
Nope. 31. I look
You
young,
look,
but...
yeah, you look young, and I think it's hard when you see people from little bit. You don't want
right,
because if you grow up fast, that means I'm growing up fast. So I don't need
right.
that.
So yeah, I know Summer from church, and I probably was really young when I first encountered Summer, met her.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you grow, I grow, and I have a hard time with that too because I'm like, no, you're not that age. When I see younger kids, and I'm like, well, I'm older, so they obviously are older as well.
Exactly. Well, we met a while ago, as you see, but even though you have this young, no wrinkles on your face, I still always ask our younger generation, how would you think you would feel once you get a little wrinkle somewhere?
Well, my thing is, I don't even feel my age. I still feel like 18, 17. Like sometimes I'm like, you're an adult. Like it just doesn't, I guess I look at adults from, as a child, we're not the same adults, like as what I've seen, especially coming from, my grandma was 95 when she passed. So, the adults I seen were not me. So I still feel really young.
Yeah.
I actually have grays though, all through this hair. I have so much gray. So when if I was to finally get my first wrinkle, I would feel like an adult. If I can start seeing some aging, because only aging I see might be the grays in my hair. But other than that, if I was to experience my first wrinkle, I'd be like, okay, maybe I'm starting to get a little aging on me.
Maybe I'm an adult now, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you still look very young. You look like you're 18. So, age is nothing but a number. I truly feel that age is part of your heart. So, if you feel young, act young, do what you do, even though, we are adults up here and dealing with life and things that we press through in life.
Right.
So, even being young, we have some wrinkles that we press through.
Right.
Can you share about a wrinkles that you have to press through or had to press through in life?
Well, I grew up really sheltered, so I didn't go through anything as a child that, someone might have went through that had it harder than me, such as like maybe homelessness or getting kicked out early from their parents' house, or, I've never had to struggle for certain things that I've seen amongst my peers. Not all of them, but, just from afar, not close peers, but things I've seen maybe on social media or just things that people talk about through going through their youth. that they've experienced. I haven't had those experiences. So the experience I'll discuss is probably not of major significance to others, but I know everyone goes through it. But one that I can particularly narrow down to a wrinkle in my life is my separation from my kid's dad, my girl's dad. It was 11 years. So that, and it was just as recent as almost coming up 3 years. So that was a major thing that's a major thing that I've experienced, that I can say that I've experienced as an adult. So yeah, the separation from 11 years, going from that to figuring out life, aside from all of that being all that you know, that was and is insane. Everybody goes through, they say everybody goes through a heartbreak or whatever the case may be. And that's all I know. So to go from that being all I know to figuring out life without that is and was and continues to be a learning experience that I'm very grateful for. Something that I can look back on and learn from. And in regards to having two daughters, it's something that I'm glad that I'm able to, be able to set an example for, and, be able to, when they go through theirs, because like I said, everyone's good. Everyone has went through something like that, pretty much. It's just taught me a lot, and it's just navigating through life and finding, what you like and how, just different things. It's hard to explain, but it's been a journey of just figuring out life outside of that aspect.
Yeah. Did you together? How young were you when you first became, sounds like you were young.
18. Okay. So that's pretty much my whole entire adulthood.
Yeah.
So that was pretty tough to kind of figure things out after that, especially at 31, when that's all you know, and then you get thrown into something different. It's hard to kind of get back those experiences outside of that at 31, trying to, recoup from other learned experiences. Like you really don't know anything else besides that. So when you, at 31, it's kind of an experience, like you're supposed to go through different things throughout your young adulthood, 18 to 21, 18 to 30. Yeah. I didn't have any of those different experiences because it's always been the same thing. So when you get 31 and you kind of go through feeling like you missed out on certain things or things like that, it feels weird trying to figure out where you fit in at 31.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a newbie. I mean, and it is a true wrinkle. I mean, you said that you didn't think it was anything that anybody go through. It's a true wrinkle because you spent that whole time. You grieve that because that's a significant change in your life that you had to experience. You know something one way, and then all of a sudden you have to adjust to this new life.
Yeah,
that's a serious wrinkle that you had to still maneuvering through, as you say.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Well, I know everyone goes through it, but I know there are more important things that people go through, like death and drug abuse, rape, anything like that. So it's kind of minor because I'm still alive and I haven't went through those traumatic things, but it was traumatic in my experience for me personally. So, and you asked about a wrinkle that is of significance, and that's pretty much one that I can say that I've been through, that I can account for, because everything else, like I said, I've had a great childhood. I haven't had to go through many things that some people might have went through.
Well, I thank you for sharing that, because I know there's many women from young to old that go through the change in a relationship that is significant for them. Even if they go through other significant things in life, that significance of having a relationship is a hard thing to deal with as women. That's why at times we make decisions as women, because we're not used to having that change.
Right.
We're not used to going through that loss It is a loss. It is a grief
Absolutely.
process you have to go through when you have that wrinkle in your life. We've all been there, probably.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's our own significant story. It's our own significant grief that
Mhm.
we have to muster through that wrinkle in our life of relationship changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And you and I reconnected recently because I work with the Sickle Cell Association of Arizona.
Yes.
And the smiles and everything that you granted me that day, I was like, oh my gosh, this beautiful young girl is still smiling.
Yeah, I was so happy because I had no idea that you were involved in that. And then, of course, I wouldn't have any idea because I had just had the baby. And prior to that, I didn't have any connection to sickle cell. So I was just happy that I can have that, familiar face to kind of navigate through this with and have that outlet and resource through you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your story of being a mommy and of your beautiful baby
Thank
girl,
you.
that has sickle cell. So tell me how that story is and how you're dealing with that.
Okay. So with Journey, her name is Journey. She is 3. I have 2 girls. So my oldest is 11. Her name is Josiah, and Journey, who's 3. So with Josiah, she did not have the trait. She does not have sickle cell. So she was our first kid together. So we didn't have any idea when Journey came out with sickle cell. We were able to have her diagnosed through the newborn screen. It was the biggest shock because both sides, obviously the gene is there, but we haven't seen it in our history on either side. We don't know anyone that has sickle cell personally.
Wow.
Like as far back as we can account for, my family's big. My mom comes from one of 13, and then my dad's side is one of 9. And then his side, it's nowhere near. It's nowhere in sight for either one of our sides. So that wasn't something that we were expecting. Of course, I've heard of sickle cell, of being African American. I've heard it in passing, but it's never impacted directly. Yeah. So when they called me and they told me, which is crazy, they told me through a voicemail, which was not acceptable. They called me and they told me about it, and I it was just so heartbreaking because I didn't understand it. So with sickle cell, both parents have, with SS, which is what Journey has, which is the most severe form, both parents have to have that gene, that trait. So her dad and I both have the trait, and there's that 25% chance because there's the 1 in 4 chance. So Journey has SS. She has the most severe form, and she has the sickle cell disease. So it was just confusing because my parents were like, yeah, one of y'all, they didn't really test for it. They've always tested for it, I guess, as recent as probably, I'm 31. So probably around my time, they were testing for it, but beforehand it wasn't anything that they were testing for. So my parents and, the Black community, they're like, someone got the gene, someone might have the trait, you might have the trait, but it wasn't anything that anyone, kept track of.
Yeah.
Until obviously it'll hit. So my mom was like, I don't know, one of y'all had the trait, one of you guys had the trait, and apparently it was me. Wow. And he had no idea that he had the trait. So, this is our second kid 10 years later from our first one. Mm-hmm. So it was just random, and it was just a panic. It was a stress. I started researching it and seeing what it is, and just the panic of, the stigma with, they're going to die young. They're going to go through all this pain, and there's going to be so many different issues with it. And it was just a panic. It was heartbreaking. It was just frantic. And that amongst other emotions, it was just really hard to deal with, and just trying to scramble to get educated on what to expect, getting in connection with the right people, all of these different doctor's appointments. It was just really traumatic when I first found out. I felt like I shut down. I felt like really skeptical about, just her. I felt like she was just really fragile.
Yeah.
Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't let her be around this person. It was like worse than COVID. It was like, she can't get sick. Don't touch her. We're not going anywhere, because they had the increased immunocompromised. So it was just pretty much a learning experience. It wasn't that deep, of course, because you don't know when you first start learning about it. You're just frantic. So you're just thinking the worst case scenario for everything. So it was just really difficult trying to navigate through those emotions and just feeling like, is my baby going to pass, and when she's going to pass? And then, of course, as she aged, and as I got educated on it, and over the years, I've just gotten more educated on it, and she's been doing well. Initially, it was just a lot of in and out of the hospital. But it wasn't due to anything that was major. It was just always, the infection part of it. Like just any little cold will spiral her.
Yeah.
So, and just, the fever, you take her in, and we'd have the 2 to 3 day stays. And that was just tough, just kind of trying to figure out, okay, well, what do I need to look for? Is this a pain crisis?
Mm-hmm.
Am I doing this wrong to set her on to a pain crisis? And, thank God has not experienced a pain crisis. She's 3. She hasn't experienced a pain crisis. The furthest extent that she's had as far as complications is just the frequent transfusions. But most recently, probably it's been a year now, we actually put her on the hydroxyurea. That was another thing that I kind of went through with her hematologist who was up at PCH. Mm-hmm. Just putting that trust in the healthcare professionals and, gaining a relationship with her hematologist and her healthcare team. Mm-hmm. And getting that trust to, go forth with their suggestions and their recommendations. I would have had the hardest time putting her on hydroxyurea because all I could see is chemotherapy drug, loud and clear, that comes in the bag with the yellow crossbones things. And I'm like, I'm not putting her on this. No way. I'm not putting her on this. This is crazy. And just being in denial, pretty much. I felt in denial. A lot of the experience through this, I felt. Now I'm better, but at first it was just a denial and just not really understanding. But as I said, she's 3 now. I'm a lot more educated on it. I know that God is in control. I've made that decision to put her on that hydroxyurea, and she's done excellent. She's done amazing. She's been doing very well. She hasn't had hospital stays probably in months. Like I was just thinking about that the other day, posting about how she's just been doing so well on this medication that I was so reluctant to put her on, but I just decided to pray on it and just put it in God's hands. And I put her on it, and she's been doing well on it. And it's just been just kind of an eye opener to kind of just, be educated and do your research on it. And that's all you can do is just try to be an advocate for your child and, at least try. So I tried it out, and she's been doing excellent. It kind of took me to a tipping point because she was having those frequent transfusions, and they were talking about splenectomies and sequestration. And I was just like tired of the in and out of that hospital and staying there 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4 or 5 days, like once a month, once or twice a month. It was just getting to be so traumatic for her with, the sticking and all that comes with it. As she's gotten older, especially now, she's like, no pokies, mama. And she's very smart. She is aware, and she'll let me know when she's not feeling well. So I already know her triggers and what to look for. I know when she starts to act a certain way, I'm like, okay, we got to get her levels checked, because that hemoglobin is probably dropped, and we're probably going to be looking for a transfusion here. Hopefully not. And I'm like, every time I'm like, oh, I hope she's not going to need a transfusion, because that she just hates that whole experience. So
Yeah.
it's just really just been about, advocating for her and just kind of figuring out her as a person that has sickle cell. So it's actually just been a blessing with as far as how it's going, because I know there are people that are experiencing the strokes, the pain, the medication that you have to take for that pain, just the many different things that can come with sickle cell complications. She's been on the lesser end of that spectrum, and I just thank God for it. You think about what can happen, as that hemoglobin, the fetal hemoglobin, leaves the body. You think about that and you're like, okay, so what can I expect? Is it going to get worse? Because, I've heard those stories of people, once they get around 5, that's when it starts to kick in tough. 4 or 5. She's 3. She's been doing well. She hasn't had any major complications. So I can't lie and say I don't think about, okay, as she's getting older, I'm like, okay, what's going on? This is going to start happening for her. But I just have faith in God that although she has the most severe form, she's going to continue on a path of like it's not even there. That's exactly what it's been going on with her. Her hematologist is always like, this girl is just special. She's my simplest patient, and she is just so amazing. So I'm just grateful for that, and I'm thankful to God. And it's just been a journey, and journey is a journey. And her name is, I just had her name, and it's crazy that her name aligns with her so much. So it's just been amazing.
That is amazing that you named her Journey.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like, okay, Journey.
That goes
Your
right
journey.
with her.
Yeah.
What would you tell yourself, or even any other parent, when they get that first, call, that first couple months? What advice would you tell yourself during that first time? If you're looking back now, what advice would you give yourself in those first few months?
Don't let it spiral you into a depression, because it can definitely take you there and shut you down. Just educate yourself, get amongst people that are familiar with it and that have experienced it, or that are experiencing it, and just surround yourself with people that are a village that can help you get through it, because even though words are not going to comfort you, you're going to have to just kind of navigate through it until you get to that point to where you're like, she's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to do what we need to do to get her through this. And those first couple of months, or navigating through that through the year, stay encouraged, be an advocate for your child. That's all you can do. Sulking through it or getting in a depressed state is not going to benefit your child. You are the parent here. You have to get through this and be the best you, so that your child is able to navigate through this the best that they can as well.
That's awesome, because I know that has to be hard. I mean,
it's very hard.
You have a baby and then you hear something that's not, you already been hard being a parent anyway,
right.
And then you hear something that's way left field from, things that we hear all the time. Because sickle cell is not, nothing that you hear all the time.
Right.
Kids might be going through. So sickle cell, like you said, you got this call. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
How do I deal with this? So I could imagine being the depression kicking in. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, it is, get that community around you, get people who know, get a support group, mm-hmm. Things like that. What are, if you got a shirt made today, all that you've been pressing through in life, the 31 years of your life, I still can't do that. You got a shirt made today, what would that shirt say?
Okay, so just to touch back really quickly too, I also remember, I think this is important. When you're pregnant, you pray for just little things that don't matter. Oh, I hope they are, I hope they're tall, or I hope, just little silly things. You don't necessarily hone in on health.
Yeah.
I didn't. I just knew automatically, like, she's gonna be good. And I actually made a status about this. It's just, you pray for just silly things like, oh, I wonder if she's gonna have like green eyes, or what color hair she's gonna have, or what texture, just silly things like that. I want them to be 8 pounds, or I want a small baby. And you don't put that focus on health of a baby. And I think it's important that everyone involved in life, first and foremost, pray for that health of the pregnancy and of the baby, because just that quick, things can just change, and it is just such a surprise. So,
yeah.
But to circle on that question, I've had this discussion with a couple people that I get these words that just pop out to me throughout the years that have significance, that I'll continuously see it, and then I'll dissect it and see what it means to me. So in 2019, it was strength. And so I have this tattoo on my arm that, I don't know if you can see it, it says strength. But that was like 2019, like it just was just strength. And I think that was behind kind of like my separation from my kid's dad and just everything like that. And then it might have been 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. But 2021, like I remember just before New Year's, I just kept seeing intentional. And it just means so much to me. So I feel like that was the word of the year for me. Once 2021 hit, I just knew I had to do everything I do is intentional, whether that be with relationships, school, work, my conversation, my actions. I feel like everything has to have an intent behind it, especially, recovering from a loss. Well, I won't even say a loss, just an experience of 11 years and what I missed out on or what I didn't do. I feel like going forward, being 31 and just how time is just flying, and how I missed out on a lot of my goals, not being intentional and just thinking I can do it later. And just seeing all that time pass. Now I'm just like, anything that I'm doing, I'm like, what's the intent behind it? I have to do it with intention. I can't just, if I'm going to have a job, it's not just going to be a job to get me by. What is the meaning behind this job? Why am I getting this job? What am I doing it for? Do it intentionally. So my word is intentional, and everything that I'm doing is intentional.
Intentional.
So, I love the word. It's just been with me throughout this whole year. I was just like, do everything with intent, have some intentional, and have some intent behind what you do. So,
and that takes strength to do that.
Yeah.
You have to really work on being intentional about your goals.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw you a curveball. Since, you're young, you can handle it. Well, by 35, what is an intentional goal you would like to reach?
Well, by 35, I claim that I will be done with school for sure. Well, I should be done in 16 months. I want to be in my own house. I want to be working in my profession that I'm currently in school in. I definitely want to be married. I want to travel. So those are my goals here by 35, that I'm stable. I'm a better mother, I want to be a better friend. I want to be a better family member to my family. It's just been a tough time trying to navigate, as I said, finding myself as a person outside of that. So by 35, I definitely want those things for myself and for my girls.
Well, thank you. Well, I tell you, I'm very proud of you. And like I said, you shine. That's why I noticed you through the crowd. I'm like, I know that smile. And, the thing is that I definitely wanted you to come and share about being a mom of a sickle cell baby and getting, you know, the fact of she's still young. So you have still things that you're pressing through with being a sickle cell mom, but keep your smile going. And, you know, other people are blessed by seeing your smile because they see your strength. And, you know, your strength is going to be intentional and we're going to be able to see that. So thank you so much for coming to Wrinkles today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You have to come back and show more pictures as she gets older and start.
Absolutely. I'm surprised she hasn't banged on my door because those naps don't last.
Exactly. Well, Wrinkles, we thank you. And if you need to know more about sickle cell, then we have Sickle Cell Association of Arizona. There's a lot of information. The website is above, and you can see things about just workshops that are coming up and family support groups and all kinds of things like that. But if you want to,
I do. I actually, that's my goal. That's another one of my goals is to do a lot more advocacy with sickle cell. I'm in nursing school. I want to do hematology oncology now that, you know, I've had the baby with sickle cell. So I was telling someone that I want to get more involved in, you know, the advocacy, and I do a drive for Journey's birthday every year for, you know, blood drive for her. So I'm definitely going to get with you to kind of get more incorporated into sickle cell and what I can do with the community, because her hematologist has been grooming me because I do want to work at PCH. So he's been kind of throwing me different resources and getting me in connection with different people. So I definitely wanted to get in contact with you. And I know Miss Lassiter, I don't know if you know Erica Lassiter. Yeah, she get in contact with her. I know she's a big part of Sickle Cell Foundation and everything. So yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you for that. Outsource for that. So I definitely will be getting with you for those.
Oh, we're definitely going to be praying for your goals. PCH is an amazing place.
It is.
You know, and we definitely need more specialists in the area of hematology. And so can't wait for you to get out there and advocate and work for this population more. So
we need us.
We will connect and continue going. So thank you so much for coming to Wrinkles today.
Thank you.
Wrinkles.
Bye, Wrinkles.